try and get a couple of extra yards, and the referees nowadays are very hot on that. New rules in the last year or so from World Rugby. The idea is to give a fair challenge after the tackle to the Jackalers. 20 minutes gone, Namibia leading, and they could have been even further ahead. Venter there, who was so good against Zimbabwe in the last game, almost got away with it.
Ouais, d'accord, moi je t'entends bien là, tu m'entends?
Well, it's the first drinks break, even though it's not as hot or anywhere near as hot as we had earlier in the day. Well, it's the first drinks break, even though it's not as hot or anywhere near as hot as we had earlier in the day. The drinks break still being taken every 10 minutes. Well, the Namibians chose to prepare in Stellenbosch in South Africa before travelling to France in the week of this competition. Deciding to leave it as late as they could to come. Both sides certainly planning to return to Marseille next year, though. Well, they would take on France. France, who are the new #1 country in the world after their victory over Japan in a topsy-turvy weekend of international action. Wales' first ever win in South Africa. Ireland's first ever win in New Zealand. England won in Australia. And Japan, has to be said, almost beat France. France, without some of their really big superstars, struggled at times. Both these sides would like to make them struggle again. This was the try, beautifully put together. Well, it was a try that looked like the backs had scored it, but the last few touches all came from forwards. And it's the difference between the two sides at the moment. 5-0 to Namibia. Looking good at the moment to add to their 6 straight Rugby World Cup appearances. They've been monopolising that place alongside South Africa, who qualify automatically because of their performances at the World Cup. Namibia have never won a game at the World Cup, but they certainly dominate in all the other competitions over the continent.
Okay, thanks. Knock on the tackle.
Sakuta, the captain, tried to get hold of it, but just escaped his grasp. Well, the scrum so far has been competitive between the two sides. I have to say that is a pleasant surprise from the point of view of the Kenyans.
Second. Yeah, sorry. Crunch! Mind! Set!
Strong again from the Kenyans, but safe as well from the Namibians. Stevens has it out the back, feeds it out to Lautert. He feeds it off into the path of the captain, Dazel, who missed the 2019 Rugby World Cup last time out.
No clear release.
Unlike a lot of his teammates who are playing tonight.
Number 7. No clear release.
Well, that is Daniel Sakuta, the captain, who didn't release after the tackle. And it means a fairly straightforward kick at goal here for Clive and Lautert. So then the 25-year-old fly half who plays for the Utah Warriors in the United States goes for goal. That's better. Through the middle of the sticks. And Namibia lead by 8 points to 0. Well, there is PJ Van Lille on the right-hand side of you, the man who had to drop out of the team today because he failed an HIA test and so could not play. Player he was sitting next to was Obet Norge, the hooker, spare hooker, who's not in the 23 tonight. Player he was sitting next to was Obet Norge, the hooker, spare hooker, who's not in the 23 tonight either, just 21 years old.
Yeah, it's more ball ripped backwards by Reds, line out blue.
Venter there being held up. Then he dropped it, didn't go backwards. Van Jaarsveld throws it, finds his man once more. Both sides have been pretty good with the set piece so far.
Now move forward.
Namibia starting to trundle, getting the train moving. It has left the station, however, Kenya trying to make sure it hits the buffers. Namibia still moving, and it's been knocked on there by the number 5, Johan Retief. Kenya come away, broken play once more. This is a chance for the Simbas, slightly high, which meant that the receiver had to rock back on his heels. Knock-on advantage over, so Dominic Coulson feeds it along the line. Sakuta, the captain, feeds it back out once more in partner who used to play under Paul Odero for the under-20s relatively recently. Number of the under-20 side have been promoted to the full. Masati back out to his half-back partner who used to play under Paul Odero for the under-20s relatively recently. Number of the under-20 side have been promoted to the full. Is it Venter there not rolling away? No, it wasn't. It was Adrian Boyson.
Number 7, not rolling away.
I thought there that tight head prop Ephraim Odor was going to take a kick.
Captain.
Was going to take a kick.
Captain.
I think then sanity returned to his head and he's given it to Dominic Coulson instead. In a while. .35th in the world rankings at the moment are Kenya. Safely out of play, and Kenya have their first attacking platform. Namibia. Safuna to the back of it, picked up by Anami. Sakuta has made a right mess of that, and Lambs has kicked it, and now the in the world rankings at the moment are Kenya. 10 or so places behind tonight's adversaries, Namibia. Safuna to the back of it, picked up by Anami. Sakuta has made a right mess of that, and Lambs who was penalised. Well, Sakuta there with a very loose pass, and they nearly paid. They're doing really well. Oh, Namibia got too excited. So a lucky escape for the Kenyans, up to halfway. Sakuta there with a very loose pass, and they nearly paid for it. Some brilliant defence in the end from the Kenyans. But that was seat of your pants stuff. Well, overall, Kenya have had a bright start, but a couple of loose moments has seen them pay. I would imagine that's been echoed at parties all over Kenya.
You jump early, blue. Early jump.
It's a free kick to Kenya. Asking the captain if he wants to go for the scrum. They are. Well, that shows a measure of confidence. Shows you how well they've started off in this game. I think that many observers thought that Namibia might have the better of the Kenyans in the front 8 in the set piece. Hasn't so far worked out that way. Alistair Kurtzer there, the former South Africa coach, took charge of Namibia in June last year. He has a contract until the end of the Rugby World Cup next year. So they are very much assuming that Namibia will book their ticket. Now they've got to punch it. Asati reaching into the scrum and coming away, getting away from Stevens. Collins injured up, goes on the run, battering into a couple of Namibian defenders. Book their ticket. Now they've got to punch it. Who takes it well though? Kenya though straight into the tackle, trying to get the turnover. Turnover is good as well. They've done it. That's brilliant work by the Simbas. Odor powers into the contact area. Asati again goes aerial. Well taken by Russo. He's looked very good actually since that opening error. And he's still going. Oh, here comes Russo. Nobody's going to catch him. Coulson's the only one who can. Russo's still going. Will he make it? Not quite. They're over the top of him. Support is there. They're over the top. And it's going to be a scrum 5.
Turnover good. But going in. Scrum 5 blue.
Well, a fantastic break here. Russo here. Great catch and then turns on the afterburners. Breaks through 3 or 4 challenges. And he was so close to going all the way. It's John Okoth in the end who brought him down. They got the rip away, but they took it over their own try line. And it means a scrum 5. And this is dangerous. It's the first time that South Africa have had a scrum this close to the Kenyan try line. Jonas Kitzer, the tight head pop, needing some attention to a shoulder.
Scrum 5 blue.
Ranos, as he's nicknamed.
Let's go blue, please.
Hercules would be a better nickname, I think. Not as wide as he is tall.
Blue, sorry, yeah, but it's gone in by red. Sorry. Let's go, please.
So then the stiffest test yet in the set piece for Kenya. Options either way for South Africa, for Namibia.
Mind! Set! Yeah, stay back just.
Off they come again, it's Benter who has it. Stevens. Kenya buckling, but they haven't quite given way yet. Yeah, Van Yarsveld wants it. However, it's gone over the top, and it looks like it's another try for Wim Conradi. 2 tries in the game for the blindside flanker. And the 27-year-old is having a field day. 2 big forwards. He just brushes by, and then another. Nobody can stop him. Power all the way for Namibia, and great control as well in the grounding. And Kenya are being left behind already. Despite their good play, they are being punished for the few mistakes that they have made. Well, Kenya have not beaten Namibia since 2014, and that fabulous day that they managed to beat them in Rugby World Cup qualifying. Namibia have won the last 5 matches in a row. The last win over the Kenyans in November last year in Stellenbosch, which resulted in a 60-24 hammering for the Simbas. So Lauser here with a chance to really compound the damage and take it beyond 2 converted tries. And he does. And thanks to a second try in the game by Wian Conradi. And a couple of conversions and a penalty from Clive and Lauser. It's now 15 points to 0. So then just 3 minutes to go now until half-time here at the Stade Maurice David in Aix-en-Provence. And Namibia at the moment being tested, but they are keeping the scoreboard ticking over, and they are very much in charge. Well, that ball looks like it's gone out on the full, and they're coming back to the halfway line. That does not help Kenyan affairs at all.
Just wait a few seconds. Someone check behind me. There's a TMO.
Yes, checking to see if that ball did go directly into touch.
Yeah. Scrum is on the line, so we are on each inside. Yes, then open shoulder. Clutch!
Daisel watches on. Stevens enters the ball into the back of the scrum, and here comes, oh, that's the first big push coming from the set piece from the Namibians. Flat pass back out onto the outside, picked up by Russo. Fullback still going, and now the Namibians looking to stretch their legs. Venter, good hit on the open side flanker. Lauser out into Van Jaarsveld, who scored 3 tries in the opening game in the quarterfinals, and has been a colossus so far. 2-try hero tonight. Conradi feeds it back. Stevens back out to Lauser. Into the tight head prop. Johannes Kurtzer. Lauser again, missed pass over 2. Conradi once more back inside, but it's intercepted this time by Vincent Dunyala. Ikinjera missed the semi-final win over the Algerians. Hasn't had the ball an awful lot tonight. You've got to find a way to get their impact players into this, and that is not what they really need. A knock-on by Malcolm Asando. Just outside their 22. And these mistakes mount up. Kenya buoyant coming into this, but they are struggling.
Let's go, please. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Saw their shot on the right-hand side of Thomas Dundo, who director of rugby, and was pointing something out to Peter Druitt, who is the representative from World Rugby in the Kenyan setup. Some mistakes that are killing them at the moment. It's another better push though this time, but here come Namibia again. However, they release the ball. Laubser feeds it out to the captain, Dazel. Dazel still going. Dazel still going through the challenges up towards the 5-metre line. Namibia pouring through. In it comes to the lock forward. Retief, and they've knocked it over, knocked it on, and can you get away with it? Indra, oh dear, that's awful from Indra, and surely the referee will blow because there's no advantage to be held there. Slightly embarrassing air shot there from the Sevens megastar. Was the top try scorer in the Rugby World Sevens. Still is the second top scorer. An Englishman took over him, but we won't mention his name. Cornodero already has notebook in hand, ready to hand out his verdict for half-time, which we have reached. Yep, there's a knock-on, half-time. And Namibia, with 2 tries from Wian Conradi, lead by 15 points to 0.